In the first video we're going to start creating our mobile phone accessory, and just before we start I thought I'd show you what we were aiming for whilst creating this project, just so you can get an idea. And this is one that I produced slightly earlier, so I just thought it'd be useful just to show you the kind of thing we're looking for. And for this I've created a earbud holder, which would be really useful as a mobile phone accessory, especially for the project that we're looking at where we're designing it for a teenager. So we can see we've got somewhere to put the earbuds themselves and an area to wrap around the cable, and I've even added just a little bit of feature of my naming it just to personalise it slightly. So this is what we're aiming for. So to begin with we need to create the basic shape, before we'll add some refinements later on. So to start with, we're going to go down to the menu and we're going to go to New, and this is exactly the same screen that you're greeted with when you first load 123D Design. So to begin with, what we're going to do is we're going to go up to the sketch panel, icons like a little pencil, and we're going to grab a circle. And the first thing I ask you to do is to click on the grid where you want to start sketching. So I'm just going to click once with my mouse, and then we need to click again to specify the centre of our circle. Now what you'll find much easier in this case is if we can look at this grid flat on, it makes sketching far more easy. And the way we can do that is we can either drag down on the cube, or the way I prefer to do it is just to click on that top face and it'll spin it round so that we can draw from a bird's eye or a plan view of our shape. So I'm going to click to start the centre of my circle, and then I'm just going to drag with my mouse, and we can see that it creates our circle, which it's already dimensioning for us. And I'd like this to be 60mm, and you're going to find it fairly difficult to move in with your mouse really carefully in order to get that. And the easiest way I find is either just to type 60 whilst you type in, unless you've got a really steady hand. So I'm going to type 60, I'm just going to hit the enter key, and I need to click to set or specify that diameter that I've created, and we notice it goes a beigey colour once that's done. So once I've finished sketching that, I'm actually going to press the little home button and go back into a 3D view. I always again find it much easier when you are starting to add a 3D element, in order it's just much easier to see when it's in 3D. So in order to do that, I'm going to go to the construct menu, which is just to the right of the sketch menu, and I'm going to go for the first one, which is the extrude tool. And the extrude tool is going to give our 2D shape, our 2D circle, a thickness, and to use it I'm going to hover over and just click with the left mouse button. And again, two different ways here. I can either use the little arrow, select and drag upwards to create my shape, and again I'm looking for a dimension of 12mm here, so I can either drag and look out for the 12, or again it's sometimes easy just to type in 12. When I'm happy with that, I'm just going to let go with my mouse, and to say OK for that menu I'm just going to hit the return key. And what we can see is that it's now created us an extrusion of our 2D sketch, of which we created a circle. So the next thing I need to do is to apply another circle just to this top face in order for it to produce the next shape that I want. So again, just to make it easier, I'm going to go into the top view, but before I do that, what I did want you to see is as I go to sketch another circle, you'll notice that the grid will change when I hover over this top surface. So I'm sketching on the bottom surface just there, and if I just move up slightly, I'm now sketching on that top surface. So you might find it easier to select that before you do that, and when it asks you to specify the centre of the circle, again, just to make it so much easier for yourself, if you rotate around on that cube and go to the top view, click the circle and then drag out, and again I'm going to type in the dimension here because it's much easier in my opinion. I'm going to hit the enter key, and then to set that dimension I'm going to click the green tick. So I can see I've got a beige surface. When I go back to the home button, I'm ready to apply another extrusion. So I'm back to the construct menu, and I'm going to go to extrude, and I'm going to click on the shape. And this time, rather than using the arrow, I'll just type in the dimension I'm after, and in this case it's going to be 10 millimeters. Now, same again, I'm going to go for another circle, and again I'm going to replicate the bottom extrusion that I did just on the top surface. So I'm back to the sketch menu, select on circle, and again, before I go to the top view, I'm just going to sketch onto that surface, and it's going to move that grid up for me. Specify the center. I'm going to go to the top menu, specify the center, and again drag out. Now I could try and line it up with the edge of the other one. Again, it's really difficult, and you're going to find it much easier to begin with just to type the dimension you're after. Green tick to say yes, and when I go back into 3D view, I can go to the construct menu again, down to extrude, click on the profile I'd like to extrude, and again, just for ease, I'm going to type this one in to 12 millimeters, and I'm going to click the Enter key on my keyboard. So you can now see I've got the basic shape that I need for this earbud holder, but you'll notice at the moment I can see the 3 sketches that I put, and they're kind of obscuring the view of the shape, and there's a really quick way to turn that off. If I go down to the bottom icon on the navigation panel, and if I click on hide sketches, those sketches will disappear and just leave you with your 3D model, your solid model that you've created, and to me that seems a much better way. So if we hover over his model and hold down the right key on our mouse, we can orbit around to look at it in 3 dimensions. There's not much to look at yet. If you wanted to, just to get the hang of it, you can spin it around. Again, don't worry if you go upside down or spin it around too far. We've always got the handy little home icon, which will put you back to that 3D view.